Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be doing a brief stock analysis on Beyond Meat, and I do a ton of brief stock analysis videos very similar to this one, so be sure to come and check out my channel if you do enjoy. And without further ado, I'll get right into it. Here I'm looking at the 6-month chart on Yahoo Finance. You can see that about 6 months ago, it was at about $136, and then it increased steadily and relatively quickly at one point, all the way up to just shy of $200, and then it rapidly declined to $113, and now it's back up to about $140. And I'm fairly confident that it'll go back up to $190 within the next 3 months, and if not in the next 3 months, definitely in the next 6 months, unless there's an overall market decline, that is. And then taking a look at it for just the last month, there was a lot of pullback. The stock came all the way down to about $113 and then has slowly been increasing ever since, and it's come all the way back up to about $140 or so. And there's a couple of things that I'm really excited about for this company and for this stock. And the first one is that they have so many good relationships with so many different establishments and fast food restaurants, and that's really going to help them as they're able to continue to increase their capacity. And the deal with McDonald's is a big part of the reason why the stock did decrease so much in the last few months, but they are definitely in the best position to establish that relationship in the future, and Impossible Foods or anyone else really is not going to have that production capacity at all, and Beyond Meat already has an established relationship there, and they're going to continue to make relationships internationally, which brings me into my next point. And just in a quick search for new production capacity or new factories or anything, I come up with 3 articles that are really, really promising. The first one is a new China factory, which is going to be absolutely huge, as the market is not really well established there, and Beyond Meat can hopefully be the first to market for alternative meat in China, and then hopefully they can continue to expand in China and the greater Asia Pacific market. I know there's a huge demand for their product in Australia as well. And then if I look at the second article, they're going to continue to expand in Europe. And then the third one, they are going to continue to expand in Latin America as well. And I don't think it's with a new facility. I actually don't know much about their Latin American market at all, but still really exciting regardless. And needing to expand production capacity is a really exciting problem to have as an investor, so I'm definitely happy to see this, even if it means hurting profits in the short term. Which leads me to my next couple of slides. If I look at their financials, their revenue and earnings for the last 4 years are not great. Well, the revenue is expanding really rapidly, which is great to see, but the earnings have been negative year over year, but I'm sure that is going to change within the next couple of years. And as you can see, in Q1 of 2020, they did make a small profit, and then in Q2 of 2020, about 10 million negative in net earnings, and then in Q3 of 2020, negative 20 or so net negative earnings. But then I really don't mind as a long-term investor. I want them to continue expanding and building new factories, and if they're not profitable for a couple of years, that's totally fine with me because I'm a long-term investor, and I think the stock is going to, triple in the next 3 or 4 years. And this would probably be a good time to disclose that I am a shareholder. I do have 8 shares. It's only about 4% of my portfolio, and I do have a limit buy of about 3 more shares. And I don't really want to add more to my position at this time, although I will in the future. But it's a little bit speculative for me. Although I'm a huge believer in the company, I don't want to make it a huge portion of my portfolio. And next up, I'm going to talk about a few points by the bulls and the bears. I've already kind of touched on these, but I'm just going to go through them really quickly. Here's a few positive points. Plant-based meats should continue to grow rapidly, and the products are gaining share against traditional meats. And I think that's going to continue for years and years to come, and they're going to grow in new markets that have never really seen plant-based meats before. And that kind of brings me to the next point, that they kind of have the first mover advantage, which I already mentioned in China. And there is a little bit of competition now, but they by far have the most production capacity, and they're continuing to expand that, which is going to help them tremendously in the long run. And then I kind of already mentioned this as well. They are likely to secure a deal with McDonald's eventually. Impossible Foods isn't going to be able to do it because of production capacity issues. And if they do, I'm sure the stock is going to soar, which will be really, really great for investors. And then next up, I'm going to talk about a few negative points as well. The first one is that the competitive landscape has increased for them significantly with Impossible Foods as well as some other smaller companies as well. And I think that's just going to continue. But with Beyond Meat having the most production capacity and them continuing to ramp, I don't think it's going to be a major issue, at least not in the near future. And then the next point is that close to half of their revenue comes from the food service channel, which has been hurt recently, but I think their largest problem is that they can't even keep their product stocked in stores right now, and I think that's just going to continue to expand as they, I know I've said it a million times, but as they can continue to expand their production capacity. And then just the last point is that consumers have been shifting away from products with long ingredients lists, but this is not really something they can help. They can't just make a alternative meat with just a few ingredients. And there's a lot of science saying that that it is healthier, even though it does have the long ingredient lists. And I think people that don't like that are generally trying to stay away from these completely manufactured foods like candies and, gas station foods that have a ton of ingredients when on items that really shouldn't. But with alternative meats, you kind of have to expect it. I did say earlier in the video that I do think the stock is going to go back up to the previous level of $190 within the next 3 to 6 months, and I cannot guarantee that. That's just my opinion, but I do think this stock is going to continue to increase as it has for the past month or so since it pulled back significantly. Anyways, if you did enjoy the video, come check out some of my other videos and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching to the very end.